Hey, my name's James Nicholson and welcome to my YouTube channel. Firstly, I want to thank everyone that's subscribed to the channel already. We're having record subscribers at the moment, record viewers at the moment. The channel is absolutely on a roll. So thank you to everyone that watches on a regular basis. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you smash that subscribe button over there and hit the bell notification. We've got new content every single day, which not every channel can say that they do. Also, smash that like button, guys. That really helps with the YouTube algorithm. It'll take you 2 seconds. Smash it over there now, and then let's get into the content. So, a few days ago, I made a video, and it was about buy-to-let being dead. Now, what often happens on my videos is people just read the title, and then they jump in the comments, right? And they haven't watched all the video all the way through. And so what I talk about in that video is that in the south of England, buy-to-let is very, very tough at the moment. Very, very tough. In fact, I'd say barely even works. And so what I mean by that is, look, if you have an old buy-to-let, maybe you bought before the rise in house prices that we've had the last few years, then absolutely it can work. I've got quite a few properties in Dorking and Hastings and London. Well, one in London. And so I've got properties in the south of England and they work fine because I bought them a while ago. Now, if I was going into the market today, I wouldn't necessarily buy in those areas. And we did buy one buy-to-let in Dorking in Surrey at the back end of 2022. And the only reason we bought that is because we already own other properties in that block. Right, so it just made sense to have that. It was a small block of flats of 4. We now own 2 of those. And in the future, if they become available, we'll buy some more in there. So that one just made sense. But now we're not looking in those areas. You see, that flat costs 235 grand. We paid for it. And we get 1,100 in rent, which is okay. But I could go up north and I could pay 60, 70 grand and get 600 in rent, right? So up north, I need £120,000 worth of property to get the same amount of rental income as I do down south. And so that's what we're going to talk about today is where does buy-to-let work? What can you do as an alternative? So first off, let's just rule out the south and talk about what you could do instead in the south of England. So if you already own property in the south, then great, you can do buy-to-let. It can work very, very well because you got in at a lower price than the market is today. And rents have obviously risen as well, which supports that. Now, if you're in the south and you're thinking, well, I want to invest in the south because that's just where I live, that's fine too. But you're going to need to look at different strategies. And so what you'll need to look at is things like HMO and SA. So HMO is house of multiple occupancy and SA is serviced accommodation. We actually cover these in the Property Accelerator. And so if you want to join the Property Accelerator, all our training courses, they're £1, right? So we'll pin that link in the comments here. Go and join that, it's £1. You get all of the training courses and you can learn how to do this the right way, right? So go and have a look at that. So in the south, you can look at house of multiple occupancy, which is when you rent it out on a room by room basis. That works very well. A lot of investors do that, particularly in London. Or you could do serviced accommodation. That also works well. In London, you can only do it for 90 days officially, but you should be looking at areas where you can do it officially longer. So that's the south covered off. So where can you do buy-to-let? Well, anywhere north of Birmingham, right? Anywhere north of Birmingham, buy-to-let still works. Now, you've got to look at each town on a case-by-case basis because there are some towns where prices haven't changed since 2008. There are still some areas where people are still in negative equity. Often, these are mining towns where there's just no employment. House prices can go from as little as 40 grand in these areas. And so look at these places, do your research. You can use things like Zoopla, for example, to see have house prices gone up in that area in the last 5 years. If they haven't, then it's not going to be an area where you get capital growth. Now, you could still make good money on rental income because you can buy quite cheap and maybe the rent is still around 500 quid. So some areas, some goldmine areas that do quite well up north. One is Liverpool. Liverpool's had some great growth in recent years. In fact, there's a lot of people that also do Airbnb in Liverpool, but just normal buy-to-let works well in Liverpool. Manchester, big cities basically, does well. Hull does well as well. And my favourite, Doncaster, does well as well. And so these areas do well because you can buy relatively cheap and the rent is still very, very good. And so we bought in Doncaster for my daughter, Georgia. We bought for 60k. That was at an auction. If you want to see how that works, there's a video on this channel actually that's an hour long of me actually buying that property at auction, so you can see exactly how that all worked. So we bought for 60k, we refurbed for 12, other fees were around 3k, so we were in that deal for 75k, and then we now get rent on that 625. It's just gone up. We used to get 575, it's now 625. Got a new tenant in there paying that, which is decent money, right? So effectively, if we bought that done up, which that's now worth 100 grand, right? So if we bought that done up, it would have been worth 100 grand. But there are people selling properties in that area for around 70 that are in a lettable condition already. You don't need to do any work. Very simple, vanilla, boring buy-to-lets that work very, very well. You can still get interest rates below 5%. You could fix that interest rate for 4 years, 5 years to give you the certainty that the rates are going to be in a more suitable place at the end of that. And then from that, you could be churning out. So let's just say, for argument's sake, let me have a quick look on Money Supermarket here. Let's just see. Here, I'm going to look at a buy-to-let mortgage. Might take, hopefully it won't be too long to check this. Looking to buy, to rent out, researching. Okay, nearly there. We're nearly there. Right, so I'm going to say the house is worth 100,000. You put a deposit in of 25. And it's interest only. So let's just say it's a 100 grand house. The rent on that, the mortgage on that, sorry, would be £276. We pay less than that, fortunately, because we got in just before these interest rate rises. But still, I would do that deal today, wouldn't you? You'd be paying 276 per month, and you're getting 625, right? So you're making like 300 odd quid per month, which is £3,600 per year as your gross profit. That's not a bad return on investment. And I tell you what, that beats leaving your money in the bank, definitely in this day and age for sure. And so buy-to-let, very, very difficult in the south of England at the moment. That's why you've got to focus on different strategies, which we can teach you in the Property Accelerator. It works very well up north still, even with the interest rates now. Even if the interest rates go up some more, you can still get it to work. It's going quite well up there. And so you just got to look at the towns where you've still got some capital growth, and just speak to agents. Speak to agents. But if you don't want to speak to the agents, have a look at Brum, Liverpool, Manchester, Hull, Doncaster. Those are good places. And I would also look at Nottingham as well. Those are places that I would be checking out. And so those are your goldmine areas. Let me know what your thoughts are. Are you interested? Are you going to invest in some buy-to-lets in the next year or so? Are you going to join the Property Accelerator? It's £1. All you need to do is click on that link in the description. Go and check it out. Why not? What have you got to lose? You've got to lose £1 if it's not for you. Do like the video. Do subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification. Check out all the other content. We've got nearly 500 videos on the channel now, including this video right here.